morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan. Let's begin with the top stories this hour. Lawmakers of ruling and opposition parties in dispute over the alleged corruption during aircraft's procurement process. Public Accounts Committee remains indecisive on punishing the culprits. Government makes a series of decisions contrary to the norms of good governance. Parliamentary members and staff enjoy undue facilities in non-transparent way. US President Donald Trump says he is ready to continue with the shutdown of the US government, hints at a national emergency to bypass Congress and build a US-Mexico border wall. And auction of Dhangadi Premier League taking place today. Over 200 cricketers in the fray. Commission for Investigation of Abuse of Authority CIA is the authorized body to probe into any corruption cases involving government institutions. However, allegations are rife that a subcommittee under the Parliament's Public Accounts Committee has concluded about massive corruption during the procurement of wide-body aircrafts by Nepal Airlines Corporation. This followed the formation of a judicial commission by the government to probe the case. This has led to speculations whether the government decision could affect CIA's investigation. The government formed a probe commission led by former Justice Govinda Parajuli after the subcommittee under Public Accounts Committee claimed corruption worth 4.35 billion rupees during the purchase of wide-body aircrafts. The development has, however, surprised analysts as the government remained silent on the issue for quite some time, but went on to form the commission after the parliamentary body pointed out at the massive irregularities. A full meeting of the Public Accounts Committee is yet to give its decision on the issue. Former Acting Attorney General Sukadev Khatri expressed his surprise at the fact that the government proceeded with the formation of probe commission overlooking the corruption watchdog CIA. The CIA is the highest authority to probe into institutional corruption, but this has been ignored by the government and the Public Accounts Committee. The subcommittee, on the basis of its consultation with few of its sources, not only concluded the corruption figure, but also pinpointed government office bearers demanding action against them. Analysts thus feel that the government and the Public Accounts Committee have been found wanting in the wide-body procurement scandal. The Parliament's Public Accounts Committee has remained indecisive over taking action against the office bearers involved in the alleged corruption during the procurement of the wide-body aircrafts. The committee failed to make a headway following dispute between the lawmakers of the ruling Nepal Communist Party and main opposition Nepali Congress in the meeting held yesterday. The subcommittee under the Public Accounts Committee had submitted a report on Wednesday concluding the irregularity amounting to 4.35 billion rupees during the purchase of the aircrafts. The members of the committee, however, have resorted to dispute on whether to endorse the report in its original form or after making amendments. The meeting of the committee has been deferred until Monday. The government has indulged in increasing the benefits of people's representatives instead of resolving the serious public-related problems and providing respite to the poor. Meanwhile, the government of Province 3 has increased the salaries of its local-level executive members by 87%. There are a total of 119 local authorities in Province 3, including 3 metropolises, 1 sub-metropolis and 41 municipalities and 74 rural municipalities. After the increment, the metropolis members will now receive 15,000 rupees of monthly salary. Likewise, the salaries of sub-metropolis member has been increased to 13,000 and that of the municipality members to 11,000 rupees per month. The rural municipality members will now be able to collect 7,000 rupees of monthly salary. The Chief Minister of the province, along with the provincial staff, however, refrained from making any comments regarding their very own decision to increase the members' salaries. The chiefs, deputy chiefs and ward chairmen are usually more engaged in terms of their responsibilities. The Constitution has hardly shouldered any responsibilities to the local level executive members. The provincial governments, however, has increased burden to the state coffers merely to please the executive members. The instances of the parliamentary office bearers and members enjoying undue benefits from the state coffers have been unveiled one after another in recent time. Many lawmakers have been found receiving house rents despite owning private houses and collecting the salaries of personal secretaries without even appointing them. However, none of these issues have ever been raised in the Parliament and parliamentary committee meetings. The major responsibilities of the federal parliamentary members is formulating policies and containing the government's wrong activities. However, a majority of the members of the topmost body of people's representatives are themselves mired in different kinds of financial irregularities. This has not only declined the people's trust in lawmakers, but has increased hostility against the overall political leaders. The lawmakers standing against such irregularities have stressed on the need of reforming the current mechanism providing benefits to the government officials. There is no second opinion that the major asset of people's representatives should be their adherence to morality and professional integrity. The lawmakers themselves need to pay a serious heed towards the issue, as questions raised over the representatives' very integrity may result in growing distrust against the Parliament itself. And time now for a short break. For more news, do stay with us. Welcome back. There has been indications of improved relations between the government and Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal after Reshamlal Chaudhary was sworn on Friday. Chaudhary is the main accused in the infamous Kantipur incident and elected to the House of Representatives from Kailali's constituency 1. The ruling Nepal Communist Party, meanwhile, has adopted a strategy to lure the disgruntled RJP Nepal to join the government by fulfilling its demands of constitution amendment, among others. RJP Nepal had warned of withdrawing its support to the government in a meeting held with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli last week unless its demand of statute amendment and release of Reshamlal Chaudhary were not addressed right away. Chaudhary was sworn in on Thursday on the direction of the Prime Minister himself, in line with the RJP Nepal's demand. RJP has termed Chaudhary's swearing in as positive, citing that the party had lent its support to KP Sharma Oli as Prime Minister to make the government fulfill its very demand, among others. The move has also been viewed as a power equation between the ruling Nepal Communist Party and RJP Nepal. Likewise, Chaudhary's swearing in has been perceived as a strategy of finding a political outlet regarding the dissatisfaction raised against the constitution. The government is preparing to address the other demands raised by RJP Nepal as well. The government's initiative to establish a chemical fertilizer plant in the country itself is unlikely to materialize anytime soon. The plan is not likely to come into effect right away on the financial grounds. Finance Minister Yuvraj Khatiwada said that the government would not be able to bear the cost of above 100 billion rupees required to establish such a plant. The ministers are supposed to find a sustainable solution to the persistent scarcity of fertilizers themselves side away from their responsibility upon being queried by the Parliament's Agriculture, Cooperative and Natural Resource Committee on establishing the plant. The committee called a meeting with the ministers for Foreign, Finance and Agriculture ministries yesterday to query the government's initiative towards ending the shortage of fertilizers. The ministers, however, failed to make any logical remarks and left the meeting midway. The issues of establishing fertilizer factory and promoting organic farming have been discussed since the Panchayati era in the country. But none of the governments established so far has been able to find a long-term solution to the scarcity of chemical fertilizers. On the contrary, ministers and the incumbent secretaries themselves have repeatedly called for reducing the government's grant on chemical fertilizers being provided to farmers. Meanwhile, the lawmakers have condemned the government for failing to live up to the needs of farmers. The government has been providing up to 69% of grant on chemical fertilizers for farmers. The Ministry of Agriculture allocates around 6 billion rupees for the purpose every year. Farmers across the country, however, have been bearing the shortage of fertilizers every year due to failure to purchase and distribute the fertilizers on time. The government's announcement of doubling the agricultural produce in the next 5 years is not likely to come to effect unless the farmers are provided with chemical fertilizers on a timely basis. Palpa's Rampur municipality is popularly known as a junction of 4 different districts. However, more than 700 families in Baijad Bazaar region do not even have their house ownership certificates. In this context, we had asked the locals what kinds of problems have they been facing in the absence of ownership certificates. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
वर्षेनी तिरो तिर्दै आएका छौं अहिलेसम्म हामीलाई लाल पूर्जा दिने सरकार आइपुगेको छैन लोकतान्त्रिक सरकार भए पनि हामीलाई केही फाइदा भएको छैन अहिलेसम्म
एउटा घरेरी किनेर बस्नेहरू छौं हामीले सबै अरु जग्गा जमिन हाम्रो केही छैन हाम्रो सम्पत्ति भनेकै यही हो यसैमा हामी चाहिँ निर्भर छौं अनि यसको लाल पूर्जा नहुँदा हामीलाई एकदम समस्या परेको छ
मालपोत और नाफी शाखाको त्यो बिल्डिङ बनाएको नि सर त्यसले हाम्रो 6-7 वटा घडेरी नै गायब गरिदिएको छ
हाम्रो त्यो ठुलठुलो चाहिँ के बिल्डिङहरु छ अब हाम्रो चाहिँ के परमार नभएपछि सबै कुरामा चाहिँ अब समस्या यो दर्ता गर्न पर्दाखेरि यस्तो चाहिँ पूर्जा चाहिने व्यापार व्यवसाय चाहिँ दर्ता गर्न पनि त्यो पनि चाहिँ समस्या पर्छ हामीलाई अनि अब के बैंकिङ कारोबारलाई पनि बिल्डिङको अब कुनै के अर्थै रहेको छैन
जग्गा धनी परमार पूर्जा नभएको कारणले यो बजार पछाडी पर्दै गएको छ किनभने बैंक वित्तीय संस्थाहरू यो लाइनमा छैनन्
ठुला ठुला पिल्लर राखेर घरहरू बनाइसकियो तर पनि यसको लाल पूर्जाहरू नआउँदाखेरि हामीले यो घरहरूलाई धितो राखेर ऋण लिएर कुनै पनि पेशा सञ्चालन गर्न पनि सकेका छैनौं
समस्या त धेरै नै समस्या छ नि अब हैन अब समस्या त अब लाल पूर्जा छैन
लाल पूर्जा नहुँदा समस्या भनेको प्रमाण नभएपछि धेरै कुराको समस्या आउँछन् त्यो बैंकिङ कारोबारदेखि लिएर अन्य प्रयोजनको लागि पनि आफ्नो यही हो भन्ने चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै फिलिङ हुँदैन
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on people representatives lost to increase their facilities? Where options are A, luxury prone, B, backing out on voters, and C, dearth of facilities. The voting is on. Type in AWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And now time for sports update.
Sports news.
The players' auction of Dhangadi Premier League is taking place today. Over 200 cricketers are in the fray for the auction. Players themselves have fixed the prices for the auction this time around, ranging from 30,000 rupees to 350,000 rupees. It has been announced that marquee players from the previous edition will be changed for this edition of the game. Both the previous editions of DPL were pocketed by Team Chauraha Dhangadi. Paras Khadka had led the champion team in the first edition, while the honours of leading the team last year had fallen on the shoulders of Sombal Kami. Meanwhile, skipper of national cricket team Paras Khadka has already said that he would not be a part of DPL this season, which begins from the 9th of February next month. Tottenham Hotspurs thrashed their third-tier club Tranmere Rovers 7-0 to cruise into the 4th round of the FA Cup. Fernando Llorente scored a hat-trick in Tottenham's big win. Llorente, who appeared for Spurs for the second time this season, completed his hat-trick within 24 minutes, giving Spurs its first ever away win with such a big margin. However, all the goals came late in the game. Despite producing good chances early in the match, Spurs only managed to take its lead in the 40th minute through Aurier Serge's goal. Tottenham cut through their opponents as they reigned in 6 second-half goals. Llorente scored in the 40th minute, adding 2 more within 2 minutes in the 71st and 72nd minute. Son Heung-min scored in the 57th minute and Harry Kane scored in the injury time to seal Tottenham's 7-0 thrashing to enter into the 4th round of the FA Cup. And before we wrap up this morning news bulletin, here's a look at the top stories one more time. Lawmakers are ruling and opposition parties in dispute over the alleged corruption during the aircraft's procurement process. Public Accounts Committee remains indecisive on punishing the culprits. Government makes a series of decisions contrary to the norms of good governance. Parliamentary members and staff enjoy undue facilities in non-transparent way. US President Donald Trump says he is ready to continue with the shutdown of the US government, hints at a national emergency to bypass Congress and build the US-Mexico border wall. And players' auction of Dhangari Premier League taking place today. Over 200 cricketers in the fray. And those were our latest headlines. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Good day.